All right, good day, everybody. This is Michael Winiger, and today we're going to talk about alkalizing the body. As I've posted in some groups, so if you're from a group, I talked a little bit about the alkaline cell and how detrimental it is to life. And I got a lot of people that ask me, okay, so how do we do this? What is it? What is this alkalizing all about? Alkalizing is the perfect environment inside the body. No disease, no illness, no virus, no sickness, no infection, no cancer. Not even fat can live in an alkaline environment. So there's a way to keep the body alkaline because naturally our blood is alkaline and it will only fluctuate a little bit, right? And and we're not really concerned about the blood. We're concerned more about the internal environment so we can match that up, right? And when we think about this, alkalizing is pretty interesting because it was discovered all the way back in the days in the 1800s with Louis Pasteur, right? And Crispus Shant. And you can go look that up and see the stories on, how they determined that the perfect state of the human body is an alkaline environment. Look, we're born alkaline. That's there for a reason. And then we become acidic. We become acidic by behavior. All right. And that's not good because if we become too acidic inside of our body or any type of acidity, we're going to have issues that are going to start flaring up all the way from something as small as inflammation and everything in between to as great as that worst situation we don't even want to talk about. So, we're going to talk about what we do to try to keep our body alkaline, okay? Because that is the perfect environment. 7.365 is perfect alkalinity. 7.0 is neutral. So you want to be around 7.2 at the least, all the way up past wherever. I keep myself between maybe 7.4 to 7.8. And there's a way of doing things, right? And living in that, we've, so alkalizing is creating a lot of oxygen inside the human body. That's what it's all about. Okay. So if you ever went for a body reset, or if you ever had that terrible situation and you ended up in an actual um, research center outside the United States. I've been to them. They practice the alkalizing lifestyle. They practice it so much that they ozone everywhere. They do ozone in the backside. They do ozone saunas. They do ozone hyperbaric chambers. They ozone your blood, right? And um, if you have, if your body's really alkaline, the color of your blood is going to be the color of like as bright as this shirt is, right? It's not going to be dark cherry red. That's not healthy. So how do we get that? How do we get there, right? And how do we live this lifestyle that can completely wipe out inflammation and everything in between to the worst thing possible? And there's a way of doing it. And one is you're going to have to take some type of alkalizing supplementation that we'll talk about. And then you're going to have to practice a certain type of a lifestyle. I talked about 6 components that need to be present if you're going to get the body alkaline. And you can't do one, you can't do three, can't have five. You have to have all 6 present in order for your body to get alkalized. And again, the perfect environment, the environment that we were born in. You're born alkaline and you're acidic by behavior. So let's talk about some free things that we can do and understand how it works because it's important to understand which way to lean to actually get more to the alkalizing side. right? So if we're going to eat any, when we eat protein, there's two types of protein: muscle tissue protein, straight flesh protein, and plant protein. So there's actually three types, right? So we got muscle tissue protein, which is animals. When you eat beef and turkey and chicken, because it's muscle, it's tissue, and it's an animal, okay? And it's very hard for the body to digest, okay? Um, and that creates an acidic environment, right? Now, it's not to say that you can't have something like that once in a while, but if you want to, stick to the alkalizing diet, then it's more Mediterranean, right? So that means you're eating straight flesh protein that you can assimilate or absorb very, very quickly, which is anything out of the water, whether it's fish, shrimp, crabs, scallops, lobsters, whatever. If it comes out of the water, that's straight flesh. It assimilates very, very quickly. Or you can go the plant route, right? And do a plant-based diet. And I know a lot of people that do that. And I tend to do that pretty much myself, leaning towards, fruits and nuts and vegetables and getting your protein from those sources because it is very, very clean. And so, with that being said, there's a few things that we need to look at, and that is your diet first, right? So, if you're taking, if you're going to eat muscle tissue protein, the important thing is how are we going to get that into our body and assimilate what you think you're assimilating, which we can have that conversation sometime because it's not. I mean, people eat that because they think they're getting protein, but if you really knew, there's not hardly any protein in that particular type of a diet because the animals that you eat, they don't eat animals to get their protein from. They eat plants and they get their protein from the plants and then they go out like a cow and they go out and they become a very big, strong animal. And for some reason, we got this all backwards and completely messed up that we think that if we eat an animal, we're going to somehow get post-digested protein. That doesn't happen. And what does happen is that the animal is going to stick into your stomach, in your gut. And it's going to stay there for 3 days if you don't know how to get it out. Now, I'm going to pause for a second because I need to show you a diagram that I forgot to bring over here. So, with that, all right. So, let's talk about what the body would look like on the inside if it was alkaline. I tend to explain this as like a swimming pool. Okay. So if you were in a swimming pool and the swimming pool looked like this is a alkaline swimming pool. That's the one you want to jump in. It's fresh, it's clean, it's alkalized. And here might be another swimming pool, which is extremely, extremely acidic. I don't think you'd want to be jumping in onside this pool, right? And then if we were to drain this pool, which would be your stomach, if we were to drain your stomach and you were acidic, then you would look like that. And then if you had any, and this is where when it comes to meats, right? If you eat meat and you're not doing the right things to get it outside of your system, this is what meat is going to look like in 3 days in your stomach. And that's not a good environment. And that is the cause of dis-ease. All right. So we want to limit our intake or do the things properly to break that down and get it out of your system very, very, very quickly. All right. All right. Well, what else? I'm going to talk about some free things, right? We need to hydrate. It's very, very, very important. Hydration is huge when it comes to alkalizing. Okay. So you're going to have to, everybody's going to be different. Look at your body weight. How much do you weigh? And then what you have to do is do half your weight, divide your weight in half, and you need to drink that every single solitary day in ounces of water. Very important. All right. Coffee is extremely, extremely acidic. Okay. There's no way you'll ever get your body alkaline if you're drinking coffee. That is not a good situation. And the worst thing that you could imagine in the world, that imbalance or dis-ease, that's coffee and sugar's best friend, and caffeine, because that will get the body extremely acidic and then allow any type of imbalance to happen inside the human body. So if you're drinking coffee and you think that you can, dodge a bullet, you might for a little while, but sooner or later that's going to catch up with you because it creates an extremely acidic environment inside the body. It's so acidic that if you had 1 cup of coffee, you would need 20 8-ounce glasses of water to neutralize that 1 cup of coffee that you had. And that would be before you even start drinking your body weight, cut in half in ounces of water. So it's not a good thing to do. So eliminate the caffeine, eliminate the coffee. Okay. One thing is sugar. Sugar will create an extremely, extremely acidic environment in the human body. Now, if you have that sweet tooth and you're like, oh, got a sweet tooth, well, guess what? You can have fruits, right? Lots of fruits. You can even drink your water with fruits. You can have cucumbers and watermelons and all different types of things, right? And so I would say that, you know, if you keep a lot of fruit inside the house, right? Because those are simple sugars. They burn as energy very, very quickly. So if you get that, I gotta have something sweet. Well, if you don't have any sugar in your house, guess what? You're not going to eat it. That's good practice. But if you're going to have anything bad in your house, that's not a good practice because you're going to end up going for it. So do what I do. I keep a lot of fruit around, right? Blueberries, mangoes, frozen, right? Pineapples, things like that. I buy frozen organic. And then when I get that sweet tooth, boom, it's beautiful. It really does the job when you need to get something, so, when you have that urge, let's put it that way. Um, Fried food, you want to stay away from fried foods. That's not a good situation, and for the obvious reason. And and keeping your body alkaline, exercise, movement. Movement needs to be present in order to keep everything working and circulating properly, right? You got a lot of systems inside your body. You got the endocrine system, you got the neurological system, you got the digestive system. And if one thing is out of whack, they're all going to be out of whack. So this is a process. It's a simple process, and it's one that anybody can do, and it changes lives. In fact, can't live in an alkaline environment. I've worked with a person that was 500 pounds that came into our offices and said, save me. You know what I did? I showed him how to alkaline, how to alkalize. And then the only thing that we did add after that was shakes. That's all. We just added shakes. So we alkalized and then we added alkalizing shakes 6 months into it. And his first year, he lost 239 pounds. And today, and this was back in 2012, and his total weight loss, he's at 168 pounds, and he's been there for 10, 12 years. But he keeps doing the protocol because it's healthy. It's what you should be doing. And if you ever get yourself into a not so good situation and you go to an establishment that teaches you how to do these things, you'll do it for the rest of your life. You know, a person has a million problems in their life. Oh my goodness, until they got a health issue. And then they got one problem. And then they'll give everything they own to get their health back. Let's not get into that situation. Create an alkaline environment, as alkalized as you possibly can to keep everything away. Okay? Nothing can live in an oxygenated environment, a well-oxygenated environment. They've done, the testing. You can see it with stabilized oxygen. You can take everything, and the minute that whatever that might be, it touches it, it's gone. And that's the whole idea behind the alkalizing. Get as much oxygen inside the body. Some of that involves breathing properly. Okay. And that's maybe you do a lot of, or you're driving your car a lot. Maybe you're doing a lot of driving around. My thing is when you see certain signs, like and I mean advertising signs, take a big deep breath, 8 seconds inside of your nose, and fill up your stomach, not your chest, your stomach. Okay, you see your stomach inflate and your chest doesn't move. And then hold it there. Hold it for about 6 seconds. And then just bring it out slowly through the mouth. And I'm going to tell you what, that will bring the oxygenation inside your body way up. That's part of alkalizing, learning how to do that. And when I said exercising, that's going out and getting a walk. Go get outside. Go take 30 to 45 minutes and take a walk and get away from, the computer and all the stuff, in your life because you did that as a kid. That's why most kids are real healthy because they're doing a lot of playing, riding their bikes. They're doing things. Okay. And that's what keeps, and our goal is to get our bodies to operate like they did when we were kids because that's when they were doing it at its best. Okay. At the age of 35 to 42 years old, you lose 50% of your digestive capabilities. After the age of 40, you lose 10% more of your digestive capabilities every 10 years after 40, every 10 years. So guess what? If you're a 60-year-old person, you only got 30% digestive capabilities. And maybe something hasn't happened yet. Key word is yet. You can't survive like that. You can't. And you got to get that into check. So part of alkalizing is getting your digestive system right. They say the gut and the brain are exactly the same. That's true. That's true. What part of the gut? We can go into that at another time. But um, you want to get the gut right because no matter what anybody has, if they're overweight, if they got this issue or that issue or this or inflammation or whatever the case might be, every single solitary disease stemmed from the gut. Because, look, you just didn't wake up one day and you got this horrible situation. Because before that happened, something else had to happen. And before that actually happened, this over here had to happen. And before this over here happened, you had to have inflammation in your body, or none of that could have happened. And in order for you to have inflammation inside your body, you'd have to have a compromised immune system. And the only way that you can compromise, there's only one way to compromise an immune system is have a bad gut. That's it. So now that we know the free things that we can do, now we talk about what we should be doing to alkalize the body. Okay. And there's 6 components to create an alkaline environment on the inside. One is you have to get your gut right. You can't become alkaline with a bad gut. It won't happen. So how do we get our gut right? Well, we are going to take digestive enzymes properly and probiotics properly. Probiotics have to be in order for a probiotic to work. Okay. In order for any probiotic to work, it has to be in a capsule. So if you're drinking them, they're dead. If you got them in a powdered form, the minute that a probiotic hits air, it dies immediately. 98% of them die immediately when they hit air, and the other 2% will die within 72 hours because they did hit air. So the way that you're going to take a probiotic is through a capsule. All right. Now, well, how when do we take these things, right? You have to do enzymes and probiotics extremely properly. I mean, this has to be a disciplined behavior because your body used to do it as a disciplined behavior when you were a child. So when you get hungry, you're already on your way up. You're getting ready, like, I gotta go get something to eat. I'm gonna go get a banana or something like that. And the minute I start thinking it, and I know I'm gonna go get it, all of a sudden my hydrochloric acid starts increasing inside my stomach, which has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with digestion. Hydrochloric acid does nothing with as far as digesting anything. It just creates the perfect environment for the digestive process to happen. And then what starts happening is all your organs, your gallbladder, your liver, your pancreas, okay, all these organs are starting to drop enzymes before you even get your food because it knows it's on its way, right? Now, this is when we're a child, right? And this happens automatically because we're young. And but as we get older, we have to do it manually. So when you're going to get up and you're going to eat, all right? And you know you're going to have something to eat. And I'm talking, you don't have to do this when you're snacking, but when you're having a meal, when you're sitting down and having a meal, you're going to look at your plate and you have to regulate your enzymes because your body used to do it for you as a child automatically. So if you have meat on your plate, muscle tissue protein, anything that's an animal, okay, other than anything out of the water, but if you have anything that's an animal, then you're going to have to take, everyone's going to be different, but you have to take digestive enzymes at the right time. And that's right before the meal. First thing in your mouth, and then you eat. Okay. In this situation with these enzymes, you take 5 of them. Okay. 5 of them with muscle tissue protein, which is any type of meat. And other than that, if you're taking anything out of the water, fish, shrimp, crabs, lobsters, or if you're doing any type of plant proteins or salads, you only need 3 enzymes. That's it. 3 enzymes. But you're also going to take 1 probiotic every single time you eat. Because the only way a probiotic can get into the digestive tract is when it's forced into the digestive tract. And the only way it's going to be forced into the digestive tract is through food. That's it. So you're eating and it's pushing that probiotic down where it needs to be. If you took a probiotic at any other time during the day, you're going to waste it because it isn't going to work because it won't get past the acid in the stomach. All right. So now we've learned how to take digestive enzymes and probiotics properly because that is part of alkalizing. If you want to increase the alkalinity inside the body and really, really accelerate it, the best thing that you can possibly do is before you go to bed, you take 3 to 4 enzymes. I take 4. All right. 4 is better in this situation because you got 63,000 miles of capillaries, veins, and vessels, blood vessels inside your body. So this works better than nitric acid because these enzymes, if you've done them right throughout the day, you're going to have an empty stomach. And when you have that empty stomach and these enzymes go in there, they got to do something. Digestive enzymes. If I said, what does the enzyme do? It's only one thing it does. Is it digests. That's it. That's all it does. So with that being said, taking 3 of them or 4 of them right before bed is beautiful because it's going to open up those because it has to function some way. It's going to open up all the veins, the capillaries, the vessels inside the body to allow more oxygen to flow through your body when you're sleeping. And it's going to also then, the enzyme has to do something. So it's going to get into the bloodstream. It will leach into the bloodstream. And then magic happens because it works like a little Pac-Man and it's just ready to chomp, chomp, chomp. And then as it's going through the bloodstream, it's going to say, wow, there's some bad cholesterol. Chomp, 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 and it's gone. There's some mold. Chomp, 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 and it's gone. There's some fungus. Chomp, 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 and it's gone. There's some bacteria. Chomp, 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 and it's gone. There's one of those bad cells. Chomp, 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 and it's gone. It cleans the blood like nothing can clean the blood like an enzyme, a properly um, uh, well put together enzyme in the evening during the evening days. So now we're starting the process because we're getting the gut right. All right. Well, then one component that you need to take is something that keeps the blood extremely healthy. And you would take greens, right? So, what do I mean by greens? A greens powder. I like this greens powder, right? Because it's an alkaline powder, because it also has a negative 750 megahertz charge on it. It's the only one in the world that does because it's the only company that knows how to do it. Because you don't buy the machine to actually create the charge. You have to build the machine yourself. And you got to know what you're doing when it comes to engineering. So when you take out a scoop of these greens, well, look at that. Look at all that sticking. And if I put my fingers there, they're already jumping off. I ain't even touching it. I'm just getting it close. Why is that? Because we are positive. Think of this like a refrigerator and a magnet. One is positively charged, one is negatively charged. And when they get together, bam, they hit. You can't get it off. It's not going to fall off. So with a negatively charged greens powder, what's going to happen, we're positively charged. This is negatively charged. So the minute we start drinking this, it becomes isotonic. What does that mean? It means that, anything that you take inside your mouth, it's going to go down your throat into your stomach. Then it's going to move over to the small intestines. It's going to start to digest, and then it's going to start moving throughout your intestines. The digestive process starts happening, goes into the large intestines and through the colon and out the back door, hopefully within 8 to 12 hours, because that's perfect evacuation, right? But when you take the greens, a negatively charged product, and it becomes isotonic, then guess what? It assimilates into your body before it gets out of the small intestines. That's what you want. Really, really quick assimilation so it can cellulize and metabolize, and it's unbelievable. One scoop of these greens is equivalent to 5.5 pounds of live, raw, green vegetables. Wow. Who eats 5 pounds of vegetables in a day? Nobody. But guess what? You're doing it 3 times a day. That's 17 pounds of vegetables. Extremely, extremely high in chlorophyll because blood and chlorophyll have the same exact chemical makeup except for the center element. One is iron, one is magnesium. But the thing is, it's so close that it really, really mimics. So that is a must. You're going to do this 3 times a day. That's what's alkalizing. Okay. Well, that's good for the blood. So, what do we do for the internal environment? Okay. What we do for the internal environment is we have to add into our daily life pH drops. Okay. pH drops for the internal environment. And the way you're going to take this is every single solitary thing that you drink, you're going to take a squeeze and then put it in your drink. Squeeze, put it in your drink. 4 squirts, 4 full squirts. The vial's only going to fill up halfway when you do that, just so you know. So it isn't like 4 full vials, but 4 full squirts in every single thing that you drink. Boom, you're alkalizing your internal environment. So you got the blood taken care of, the internal environment taken care of, but understand You're going to start now releasing a lot of toxicity. And you don't want anything that is toxic inside the body because toxicity is sticky. So you don't want it loosening up and then it's sticky and it grabs onto something else and it just hangs there. And now more's hanging there. You have to get super, super smooth inside the body in order to, when toxicity is released, it's out the back door quickly, right? And the way that you're going to do that, you're going to take good omega-3, 6, and 9s. Okay. That's a must. And this is good for a lot of things. It's good for your joint health and your bone health. It's good for, and this is made strictly from flax. So it's a plant-based. It's unbelievable. That's the best oil you can possibly get anywhere is from flaxseed, right? And it's going to be good for connectivity and good for your communication skills, throughout your body. It creates a good pathway for communication. Unbelievable stuff, but it makes you extremely slippery. And if you do this and you do this, one of these capsules 3 times a day, I'm going to tell you what, there's no way toxicity can stick inside of you. You'll be releasing stuff like crazy and out the back door where it belongs, in the toilet, in the sewer. Okay? All right. Now, the next thing we have to do in order to get ourselves alkaline is we have to take 10,000 IUs of vitamin D3 every day. That's it. 10,000 every single solitary day. I like this D3 because it's made from plants. Okay. Um, lecithin. So now all the other D3 that I've ever seen on the market is lanolin. All right. And when you have lanolin, what is lanolin? That's sheep's wool. I don't want to be taking my D3 from sheep's wool. I want it from plants. So I choose this particular product from Asante Organics because it's 10,000 IUs of D3 and K2. All right. So we just went through the 6 things that gets you completely alkaline. So you have to do these free things, and then you have to do these 6 things in order to create get your alkalinity raised way up. Now, how do you know how alkaline you are? Well, you can get test strips. Okay, doesn't matter which test strips. I get these, and what you do is you pull the test strip off. And in the morning, how do you test your alkalinity? Is you pull this off and you pee on it. You urinate on this thing. First urination in the morning. See what it is. So once you take it off, you're going to have all these numbers down here. Okay. And when you get to 7.0, where my finger is, that's neutral. And 7.2 is neutral. And you want to be up in these upper numbers. Okay. And if you're at 6.8, you're 10 times too acidic. And every number, 6.6, 6.4, you keep multiplying it times 10, 100 times, 1,000 times. That's not good. So you want to get up into these dark areas as fast as you possibly can. If you've never alkalized before, this should take you about 3 to 5 days. That's how fast and quickly it works. That's how you monitor yourself. And you can do this a few times a day, but the most accurate time is by doing it in the morning and you urinate on it. And then when you're done peeing on it, take another strip off, put it in your mouth and see where you fit on that scale. And when you can match that up with your urine and you're up in those dark numbers, you, my friend, are alkalized. And now you've created a perfect environment where no disease, illness, virus, sickness, cancer, fat, nothing bad can live in an alkaline environment. Now, if you want to supercharge your alkalinity, you can add a couple other things to your agenda. And one thing that I like to add myself is these electromineral cell salts. Because during the day, if you can picture yourself as, and I brought this out for a reason, as a water bottle, right? And let's just say all the way, and this is Evian, but let's just say we get up to the E. That's how much. So we have four minerals, a lot of minerals inside of our body, but four of them are essential in life: calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium. Okay. And we all get the same amount every single morning. So if you think of a water jug and there's only 25% of the water in there, that's as much as you got. And everything in the body is enzymatic activity. You're blinking your eye, moving your, I'm scratching my cheek. I'm moving around. I'm doing exercising. I'm sleeping. Every function is of the human body is enzymatic activity. All right. So our theory is this is look, if that's all you get throughout the day and you start using that up and using that up and using that up, and now it's nighttime and you don't have any left, well, guess what starts happening? You're going to basically start pulling. You're going to start pulling calcium from your bones, your teeth, and your heart, and magnesium from your muscles, potassium from your organs, and um, um, sodium from all the other cells inside your body. I'm going to tell you what. So the theory is this: if you take electromineral cell salts, then you fill that water bottle all the way to the top. And it's like filling up a gas tank. So you're going to use all this throughout your day because you manually put it in there. And then at night, when it's time to go to bed, your 25% is there that your body gave you. And while you sleep, it uses that to do all the good things that are essential for life. So, and it's really important when we were talking about the alkalizing, when you take the 10,000, I use a vitamin D3 because this is a horse and calcium is the cart. So you could have more calcium in your body than I do at the moment, and you're not using it. Okay. And that's not a good thing. And it's because you got low vitamin D or no vitamin D. Because what vitamin D does is it comes up, and calcium is the most used mineral inside the human body. So this comes up and it acts like a horse and it hooks up to the calcium. So let's just say you got a pain. Oh my gosh, my knee hurts today. My knee, it's my knee. Okay. Well, calcium is a buffering, it's an alkalizing, and it's a buffering mineral. So what's going to happen is, wow, you got knee pain, all these signals are going on. The vitamin D is active. It's going to come hook up to the calcium. It's going to come down to the knee and it's going to scrub that inflammation out of there. Pain is inflammation. Inflammation is pain. Can't have pain without inflammation. Can't really have inflammation without pain. Sooner or later, you're going to get the pain. So I like to include the electromineral cell salts so I can keep my levels extremely high. And one last thing I'm going to show you. Um, well, there's two things and one's over there, but I guess I'll show you this and we can cover that another time. It's important to understand that um, you know, getting our daily amount of vitamins and minerals and everything that we need for our body to be active and to be healthy is, you know, very essential. But the problem with vitamins is they don't break down. And then they're going in and going out, and you didn't know, but you thought they were being used, but they're not. I like to take a product called the B tabs. Okay. These are the B tabs made by the honeybees: propolis, honey, jelly, and pollen. And if you take any one of those ingredients by themselves, it might do 10 things for the human body. Take them all together in the right amounts, it's the strongest vitamin in the world. It's the only food that's made by nature that sustains life. So if you somehow got stranded on an island or somewhere and you were never found, but all you saw was all these different beehives, you could eat those bee products and have water and live a healthier life than probably some of the most healthiest people around. It is nature's perfect food. It's the only whole food made by nature, and it sustains life. So, you ditch the vitamins and you take the B tabs. And then after you're the age of 50 years old, don't let anybody kid you because you don't have glutathione anymore. I shouldn't say you don't have it. You don't have you don't have a lot of it anymore. You don't have a proper amount of glutathione. So can't take a shot. That's only good for that second. Can't be thinking that you're going to take something that's going to induce the liver, a pill, or something that's going to make your glutathione work, or you're going to wear something or put something on you, or something's going to activate it. It doesn't work like that. You have to outsource it yourself. So how you're going to outsource it yourself is you're going to take, there's a product called the organic super reds, right? And it's all the superfruits. And those are your antioxidants, and they're essential. They are very essential for life. And that's what glutathione is. It's the super antioxidant, but it protects your telomeres and your telomere caps, okay? And it's good for phytonutrients and blood circulation and so much life. And there's so many things that the reds do. We could spend hours on that. And and a scoop of the super reds is equivalent to 5.5 pounds of superfruits. And you take that 3 times a day. That, and by spacing it out like that, that's what keeps your antioxidants going absolutely having a good party inside your body and then keeping it really, really, really healthy. And you get everything from that. I mean, it's unbelievable what those do. But the 6 things that we were talking about, and I was talking about in the groups or whatever the case might be, that you have to do in order to alkalize the body is practice all the free things that I said in the beginning, because you can't be alkaline and do those and misbehave. Alkalizing is a disciplined behavior and it's simple to do. And once you become alkaline, once you get to that moment of the energy you're going to sleep better. It's amazing. And then the minute you do something and you cheat and you do something, you feel your body doesn't want it inside of you because it's poison. It's poisonous and it shouldn't be there in the first place. So you're going to do the enzymes and probiotics properly before you eat. And then if you want to add them at night before you go to bed, perfect, right? That's 2, okay? Then you got 10,000 IUs of vitamin D3. That's what's required in an alkaline environment, all right? Then you got the greens 3 times a day, the pH drops, 4 squirts, and everything that you drink, everything. So it keeps the internal environment alkaline. And then we need to be slippery, really slippery. So when we're breaking down toxicity, it's sliding out the back end. And that's it. Think about how simple it is to be extremely, extremely healthy. And you can't become healthier than having a body that is highly alkaline. Impossible to become healthier than that. And those are the components that I mentioned in those rooms. I can also do this, many times so we can keep, it's like rinse and repeat, right? So we drill this in our heads because you'll live a wonderful, wonderful life and keep most of everything away from you that could ever be bad because it cannot survive in an alkaline environment. So it is extremely important to become alkaline. Go look up the work of Dr. Otto Warburg. Go look up the work of Louis Pasteur and Mr. Bachat. That's all the way back into 1800s. And they knew the importance of it. So, and they know that's the perfect environment. 7.365 is perfect. So when you're checking yourself out on your strips, 7.4 and above, that's where you want to be. And then you will see your body. You will see magical things happen to your body. And again, I took a lot of people I work with that want to lose weight. But I think one of the greatest was a gentleman by the name of Lou. You can see it on my page. And he went from 500 pounds down to 168 and still practices so he's been at 168 now for, oh my goodness, 12 years. It's amazing. And why don't doctors teach this? Do they know it? They know it. And let's put it this way. If a doctor taught people how to get alkaline or how to alkalize, and they did it, Hmm. They might have operating hours, but they wouldn't have anybody sitting in the waiting room because nothing, there's not going to be issues at that point. You know, remember that, you know, doctors practice. Keyword is practice and medicine. There's not a doctor yet to cure anything because medicine doesn't cure a thing. All it does is manage symptoms and it keeps you in a bad situation, even worse than you being in a situation without whatever you're taking, because now you got side effects from what you're taking. So let's fix you in here, in here, and on top of here. Okay. That's how you keep alkaline too. Ditch and switch. Find out what to do on top of yourself as well. Don't use toxic chemicals. That's important. Learn how to read labels. Reach out to me. I'll teach you how to do it. It's simple. I can teach you within 10 minutes. It's all you got to watch out for. This is the top 12 things, and that's it. That's all you got to look out for. Because if it's there, you don't want it to be there. You don't want to be putting formaldehyde inside or on top of you. You don't want to be putting, propylene glycol and PEGs and PPGs. That's not alkalizing, and that's antifreeze, right? And it's in products, and you got to know how to find it. And you know what? Wow, the difference that's going to make, that's going to make a big, huge difference as well. Because at the end of the day, at the very end of the day, tonight, you think about yourself tonight and you think about, you know what? Look, I don't live in here. I live in here. Okay. What did I put in here? Where I live. What did I put on top of here? Where I live. Okay. That's important to think of. What did I put in here? What did I put on top of here? Okay. Where I live. And at the end of the day, no matter how small or how large I've done anything, or you've done anything, you've only done one of two things. One, you participated in your life. Or two, you participated in your death. And it's just that simple. And you get to choose. Taking care of your health is your responsibility. And yes, for whoever asked that question about alkalizing and autoimmune, yes, absolutely. It helps. Remember, at the end of the day, every single second of the day, millions of cells in your body are, die in a second. But millions are also being replaced. So when one dies, you're reproducing, you're regenerating new cells. Are you regenerating good cells or are you regenerating bad cells? That's really important to understand. You want to be doing the good cells, right? So learn how to alkalize, learn how to read labels. Remember, this is where you live. What are you putting inside? What are you putting on top of yourself? And if you need more information, you know my name, Michael Winiger. Reach out to me on my Facebook page, and I can help you customize a program that's going to help you. And my thoughts on parasites and heavy metals. We have a product. I use a product called PhytoCleanse. I just saw that in here. And it's a biofilm cleanse. And that's the strongest cleanse you can get. And it's done with organic ingredients. Okay. We formulated it. So it's a product that I use, right? And if you have a health issue, you do 2 cleanses a year. If you don't have one, you do 1 cleanse a year. What does that consist of? Take 4 capsules in the evening before you go to bed for 3 nights in a row. Now your cleanse is done. And it gets rid of everything, biofilm, heavy metals, parasites. It's a colon, it's a cellular, it's a colon cleanse, it's a gut cleanse, it's an organ cleanse, it's a cellular cleanse. And it cleanses out all the biofilm. Things get trapped in biofilm. And you got biofilm in your mouth and your nose and your ears throughout your body. Imagine getting rid of all that and including those things. Yeah, when I don't care if you were a kid and you got those things, we can get that out, replace the biofilm, start over again. That's the greatest gift God has ever given us, a way to start with a new canvas on our life, start alkalizing, start doing the right things, get the bad stuff out, allow the good stuff in, and live a long, energetic, unbelievable life. People in the blue zones are alkaline, and there's 5 blue zones in the world, and the medical system barely exists, only for broken bones and a trauma stitch, maybe. Other than that, nobody. And they're living to 100 is the 98 is the average life cycle in a blue zone. And most of these people are in 105, 115. They're doing interviews. You can watch it. So it's important to create a blue zone inside this beautiful place that we live in, and you will have a wonderful, wonderful, energetic, unbelievable life. Reach out to me if you want some more help. Thank you. I appreciate your time. I'm very humbled, and God bless you all. And you will see me again on another broadcast. Thank you all for attending, and peace and love. And I'll see you guys again soon. Take care. Later.